Hey lovelies. Okay, so coming in with this month's monthly message, and of course it's the 11th of November. I hadn't really thought about the timing, um, but yes, big gateways and openings and all of the stuff. So yeah, I mean this message really kind of knocked me for six yesterday. um, I think I'm just too tired to kind of fight it or figure it out. But I'm just going to share it and yeah, just see how it resonates or not with you. It's either way, it's totally fine. Of course. Let me get on with it. So of course I was settling down yesterday for to sit with Divine Mother, to sit with the goddesses, and see what was coming through for us, what they needed us to know. And Commander Ashtar just came straight in and actually said, interrupting the transmission with his announcement. So yeah, I just went with it, and he's been coming in a little bit. He used to come in quite a lot, particularly around fertility, my fertility sessions, because the babies are very galactic, and there's the guardianship, if you want to call it that, handover, and he started to come back in a little bit more recently, which is cool. I think I have channeled a message from him before, but I haven't deliberately gone there, so it was kind of nice and also a bit of a surprise. But yeah, it's a really big message, so let's just figure it out together. Maybe we can chat it through when we're in the comments, or when we're in our gathering. So as I said, open heart, open mind as always, and yeah, if it makes sense it does, if it doesn't, that's cool. Alright, so just taking a breath and letting ourselves settle in a very kind of galactic blue energy surrounding us, which is gorgeous. Okay. Whew. So, it is I, Commander Ashtar, who wishes to share this edict with you today, and to interrupt your transmission with an announcement of utmost importance. That things are changing on your planet, you know, but why this is happening you may not know, and that is why I wish to come to you today, not from the point of a masculine energy in your divine feminine womb that is your group, but as a galactic energy and commander of light forces that are soon to be carrying out a number of operations. And that is that free will has now been broken, and therefore the rules of engagement with the darker forces on your planet are able to now be engaged with from a much higher level. For it is they have stepped over the line. They have got too cocky, you might say. They have become slack because they feel they have all the power, and yet are insistent they have none. That they know it is the people who hold the power, and they have merely been offering the alternatives to truth to give people choice. And yet when that choice steers in the favour of the light and truth, they have become wary, and this is a condition that may see the end of them and their powers of control. For they are right on two counts. They have always said they know the power lies with the people, and so they give you choice, who to act upon and who not to. Perhaps that's a nod to political stuff, or maybe just all general life. And yet no, they are playing the game where they are even taking this choice away and only manipulating the choices of people in their favour. And so that is no choice at all. I think something was going on like that in Ireland recently. And so it is to these so-called leaders that you were offered as choice. Do you see, there was none. There was an element of this, but not really, for they no longer controlled the blue and the red, so to speak, but who was in the blue and the red. And therefore that is not choice. And so it is all well and good to control the choices of the masses, for it is you, the masses, as you say, that do indeed have the power, and do indeed have the choice. and there is also a choice to not engage at all in either blue or red. And yet this choice is being taken away too. Do you see? And so therefore all choice, and therefore the choice is none. For whatever choice you make, it is one derived from a miscalculation on their part that this formed part of the rules. And yet it does not. And so, my dears, you know you have choice in all things, are most often making that choice from yourselves, from your truth, from your heart. But when you are given no choice, but to act only from the choices presented to you, that is a slippery slope, and one they are most insistent on right now. And this has actually broken the rules of engagement. And so, my dears, your choice is to disengage entirely from the world and live on an ashram, for example, or engage in society and build it from the ground up. So you see, they are pushing people to disengage from society in order that they can engage the society that doesn't know, isn't aware of, for whom that choice is possible. And this is a breaking of the conditions of free will. For although some will say this is the future, to engage or disengage, it is of course neither. For you cannot disengage from society entirely, even on an isolated patch of land, for you are always and will be connected to one another in some way. And so it is, the masses must turn from this choice or that one, and engage firmly in the whole. For taking yourself off to a farm may well appease a lifestyle of one sort, yet how about the rest of the world, the rest of the population that feel this was not of choice at all? You cannot leave them behind, for they are you, and you will feel them no matter how far away you wish to run. And so, my dears, what I am saying is that the rules of engagement that were on a knife edge have now been tipped in favour of the masses, for there are consequences to free will, and the taking of it, or in this case, the diminishing of it to such an extent as it leaves a polarity that is fake and false, and yet no natural choice exists. And so it is, we will be turning to your leaders and those who lead them. And there may not be actual people, but energies that are losing their minds and sense of focus on what they can or cannot get away with under galactic laws. And so see them crumble and see them diminish, as they know very well will happen, for that too was their choice. Hold your empathy for them, but do not give in to the manipulations around them, for they are very intelligent in this frame. Hold your line, hold your truth, and ride this storm as the world tips upside down. For it truly is a battle of light and dark, and has been since the beginning of time. And some agreements were made to hold this in place, and yet when those agreements are broken, we are able to bring the full force of light upon them. And this is what is happening, my dears. It is a force of light to restore balance, and to restore truth, and to continue the line of free will for all. For when you are boxed into a corner, then free will becomes ever more important. And when the balance of free will is boxed into a minuscule level, then that is the edge into which we can step. So do not fear, my dears, never fear. Never blame your fellow humans for their foibles and fantasies, and for not joining you in your path of freedom. For some simply do not know they have that option, and some do not even want it. But when options are so small they can barely be seen, then a knife edge it is, and one slip, and they will see the force of light upon them. For that is where we are now, a knowing slip they will make when we can then step in. For many say it is not us who are your saviours, and we are not. And yet when the rules of engagement are broken, it is not a matter of saving you, it is a matter of tipping the balance back into your favour. And you will see many fall as the culmination of this. And that is not for you to fall into, but to wait, to pray, to create, to love with us at your side, because you wish it so, as one. Not as above and below, but as one. For we too are your family, and we too are affected by the ripples emanating from your world. And so we do this for us, for all, and not just because it takes our fancy, and the time is right. there are gradients and rules that are unbeknown to you, and these have been reached. And so it is now you can call upon us, and we will be seen by those who are open to walk alongside you. And we may not look how you think. We may be the old woman in the corner shop rallying her troops, or we may be the forgotten leader who was buried under the weight of it all. And there are many and they are few, depending on which side you are looking to. And so choose to see the many who are among you, and we will soon put on a display that will indeed turn the world upside down. But my dears, know this is happening, and do not be in fear of it, for all will look unreal. And that is another part of their plan, that they will have backfired, for they have attempted to make the unreal real in order to throw and confuse. But they know that once people can feel what is true or not true, their game is up. And so it is. My wish, my service, to everlasting love, Commander Ashtar. Okay, so it does feel like an announcement. It does feel, the time scale, who knows, we all know. Maybe it's this digital ID stuff that's coming in, that we do feel more and more, I'm going to share another message that uses the word boxed in, with our choices. And I thought it was really interesting, there's so many, it's so tempting to look at these, these community farms that are popping up, and live off grid and grow your own food and all of that stuff. But it's not an option for everyone. And I love that idea of it. But also, I really get what Commander Ashtar is saying, is that we can't just disengage from society, because we're still part of that society one way or another, certainly energetically and just in so many ways. So it's coming together to build within the society. So you might have some extra questions, and if you do, I'd love for you to ask them. I can go back in and ask for clarification. But the questions that came to me were, I basically said, so what they've been doing is shrinking our free will. And he replied, not shrink it, but box it in to such a tight space it almost becomes meaningless. And I said, so that's not allowed. And he said, no, my dear, that is not allowed. Not so much allowed as against the grain of balance. And you will see it in your maternity services, that no will is allowed by the birthing woman, only control. This is not the rules, for that is the birth of humanity they are messing with. And messing with this to the point of overstepping the mark. For once they grab hold of the natural processes of women, then all will be over, and there will be no more humanity as we know it. Only how they wish it. And back to the energy of slavery and control for their bidding, and very far from free will. They are aiming to birth out the notion of free will, and this is insidious and slow, and so we must act now for the sake of humanity and the sake of the world and worlds as we know it. For without humans, we are all finished, as humans hold our own DNA as well as your own and many more. And so to splice the DNA of a human is to splice the way of the worlds too. And this cannot be allowed, as you put it. Now that's massive. And, there's more and more, obviously most of the work I do is around conception and supporting women in pregnancy and birth and after. And there's so much more control over women's choices. They are really pushing the science, the tech. Growing babies in little pods, whether they're doing that now or not, but this is what they're dropping in. This is what's happening. They're creating babies from cells. They're creating embryos from skin cells. They're like, the science is so wacky. But of course, what is, who are women? Creators. They're taking the creator element out by affecting women's natural processes, and that's that's like beyond IVF, where women can give their power away to the medical, and if I always say within IVF, hold your power, everything is to support you, but the way it's going is like even beyond that. And certainly with maternity services in the UK, maybe in your countries as well, I mean, shocking, fear, interventions. There's been, so many news stories dropped of women dying and having home births, and there's no balance. It's just fear, and you have to hand yourself over. You are not safe unless you do all these things that we tell you. I mean, it's absolutely shocking. So to read this message and what is actually happening, it makes me want to cry. Once we lose, what did he say? Once we lose the natural processes, once they grab hold of the natural processes of women, then all will be over and there will be no more humanity as we know it. They are aiming to birth out the notion of free will. Oh my goodness, God, ladies, I was going to say guys, oh my God, that's huge, and I think, I think I need a discussion on it. I don't know about you, but maybe we can talk about this message when we next meet. Because this is the knife edge, but let's remember, they're not allowed to break the rules of engagement. There's just things happen when that happens. So the balance will tip, and the same with digital ID. I'm like, oh my God, like just get over it, I just think that energy can't survive it in this level of light, because that's completely taking away our choices. Anyway, so then I went on to ask Commander Ashtar, so what can we do? And he replied, you can keep your humanity, hold on to your humanity. And what does this mean? It means your free will, which ultimately is your soul. For your mind may have free will, but it is your soul that you will and always will be following, whether you are aware of it or not. So we have this concept of free will, but we kind of know if we don't follow the will of our soul, it feels really uncomfortable. Yes, our mind can, no, I don't want to do that, I'm going to do that. But if it's not in alignment with our soul will, it's just really uncomfortable. So yes, we have free will in that sense, but it feels so uncomfortable. We might as well go with our soul will. So this is the soul will that he's talking about. For your mind may have free will, but it is your soul that will and always will be following. You will be following whether you're aware of it or not. And so it is not the free will of the mind I am necessarily talking about here, but the damage of the soul that distracts and distances us from our humanity, which is source, which is light, which is God. And when your soul is shrunk to such a point that it is trapped once again in a cycle of no connection, then it is we must return to the beginning once again and go another way. But that is not the desire here. It is to go beyond this, to expand into the soul and connection. So this may never need to happen again, and there must never need to be a collapse once again to the nothingness to start again. We will be on board once again, from us, galactics, to the elementals, to all beings coming together in a force of light and no longer separated from each other. Sorry, my writing. No longer separated from each other, but with each other. And so it is. So, this is part of many messages we've been receiving. I was reading the one from the fairies the other day, and why they, I think it's in the guides. I think it's from 2024, where the fairies are saying they've had to find some way of forgiving the humans and, feeling, dealing with their experience of it, because they know it's only together that we can really make a difference. So they're coming on board more and more. Okay, so I then asked him, what would you like me to do with this message? Because quite honestly, I'm thinking I'll share it here because I love you guys, I trust you guys, and even if you think it's totally mad, you'll just go, oh, it's fine, it's fine. But I don't know how or where to share it, even if anyone is going to read it. But anyway, here it is. And he said, share it. Those who hear it will hear it. Those who don't won't. But all you can do, my dear, is be you. There is no pressure. There is no must do. For that is not the way of the light. We ask you to follow your soul's will rather than the free will of your mind, although that will not be taken away either. It is more a matter of your soul's will flow merging with this for more ease of mind. And then I asked about my work. It must expand this message. This is not about a baby being born or not. This is about humanity being born. And that is the impact you are striving for. That you hold to the natural processes and the gift of life, the human connection, the human power and line, and not the fake. For fake humans make a fake humanity. And that, my dear, is the point. None of you are fake, all of you are real, and we would like this to remain so. And yet an army of humans who are not humans as we know it, because they have been cut off from connection and their souls boxed into a minuscule space, is not the wish or the path any of us wish to take. Keep your humanity on every level, in every way, your compassion, your love, your unity with each other. Some are already disconnected from their souls, and so do not see the point in them. They have no reverence for it, and so to do without it is not a problem for them. Only without the soul there is nothing, and not nothing as we see it as the everything, nothing at all. And they believe they can destroy God, destroy love, destroy soul, and yet they cannot, for this is not a path that will be stood for, only manipulated in. And so it is. Okay, another massive one. Okay, and what about and I asked about the babies being born. Natural, always natural. The woman must return to their natural source, and so this message must be kept loud and clear, to keep reminding them that no matter how hard it seems impossible sometimes, they must keep trusting and returning to their natural, and their babies will be so, and then humanity will be so. It is not to be pushed into desperation that only the science has the answers. It must be that they are the answer. There is an insidious push right now towards the women giving even more of herself over to science, that the struggle to conceive can be made easier by this, for at least she will have her baby. Babies growing in incubators with no human contact. What would you rather? An opening to your true power, or the ease of having your baby through technology? This is your baby. This is your precious soul. And without you, there is none. Believe it or don't believe it, this is what is happening. And this is why we are leaving your free will open, for being controlled and told by either the light or the dark is always dark. You can do this, you can. My faith is within the human, within you, and we would like you to have faith in us, for we will not leave your side. Thank you. All right, so thank you, Commander Ashtar. Thank you for listening. I still feel quite wobbly. Honestly, the energy is quite something. And yeah, what do I want to say with that? I don't feel doom and gloom. I feel like, shit, all right, that's where we are. But I don't feel... You know what it reminded me of? Years ago I was shown an image of the world, and there was all these lights were connecting. All the lights were connecting up and joining up, and it was just this like web of light, and there was this small patch of darkness. And they were saying that, you know, that will still be there. There's some that will just want to stay in that space, and that's fine, but it has no power. And all the lights us can send love to that dark, and they can join whenever they want. But this little patch of dark in this whole world had no power. And how I was seeing it is that if they know that image, then they want the opposite, that there's this much light and this much of their stuff. But it's just not, it just isn't. I honestly believe it's really not going to happen that way. So, like, I really feel that, because we're choosing a different way, and we're choosing a way that feels good, feels natural to our hearts. It's just as simple as that. We're just choosing that. And we're going to have a lot of beings walking alongside us, whether actually physically or just feeling them, seeing them. So actually I felt quite a lot of I felt quite a bit of grief yesterday for the world, but also like it's going to be okay, and I'm not just saying that, I really do. But today, reading it again, I just feel more inspired. Like, there it is, lay it on the line. That's what's happening. If we know if we're aware of it's happening, we can see where they're shrinking our spaces to disconnect us or distract us. And like the beautiful meditation last night, so I really highly recommend you go and listen into that as well. Just your presence, your presence is what can nourish your cells and balance your cells and balance your energy field and balance your emotions and balance your connection. I mean, it's your presence. It's your presence that is everything. That was the meditation last night. So yeah, I guess if we, well, I don't know, I would love to know how you feel about it. Yeah, I will have a little chat soon. But I can certainly see it in the areas where I'm focused on, and see that bigger picture. Of course, they're birthing, and I've always said, my strapline is birthing love, not trauma. Is it strapline? I don't know. But that's what I say. We're here to birth love, not trauma, not continue to birth trauma. And if the plan is to take over women's natural processes, disconnect us from those processes, then yeah, where does that leave humanity? So, right, I'm in. Let me know. Okay, my darlings, a long one today, lots to mull over. I am going to type it out. I did actually put it into a transcript, but they've told me they can't do it. So I'm just going to sit and type it out, which may take a while because it's quite long. But anyway, you have this for now, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. Sending lots and lots of love, and I will be in touch. Okay, good stuff. Bye.